124 light-years from where you are sitting right now, there is a planet wrapped in cloud, and something in its air should not exist. It is not a rumor. It is not a blurry photo. It is a chemical fingerprint picked up by the most powerful telescope humanity has ever built. And the molecule it found is one that, on Earth, is made by living things. Only by living things. Tonight, we are going to walk through exactly what the James Webb Space Telescope saw, why scientists went quiet for months before saying a word, and the one detail buried in the data that nobody wants to say out loud. Stay until the end, because the last part changes how you look at the night sky. The planet has a name that sounds like a serial number, K218b. It orbits a small, cool red star in the constellation Leo. It is about 8.5 times the mass of Earth, big enough that for years astronomers argued about what it even was. A rocky super-Earth? A miniature gas planet? Something in between that does not exist in our own solar system? Then, the James Webb Telescope turned toward it. And here's the thing about Webb that you have to understand. It does not just take pretty pictures. When a planet passes in front of its star, a sliver of starlight filters through that planet's atmosphere on its way to us. Different gases absorb different colors of light. So when that light finally reaches Webb, it arrives carrying a barcode, a pattern of missing colors that tells you exactly what the air is made of, across 100 trillion miles of empty space. That is what Webb read. And the first results were already strange. The atmosphere of K218b was full of methane and carbon dioxide, but almost no ammonia. On a planet like this, that specific combination points to one thing: a vast ocean of liquid water underneath a thick hydrogen sky. Astronomers have a name for this kind of world: a hycean planet. A water world the size of a small Neptune, possibly covered pole to pole in a single global sea. A warm ocean under a hazy sky in the habitable zone of its star. That alone would have been a headline. But that is not the part that made the room go silent. Buried in the same data was a faint signal of a third molecule, dimethyl sulfide. On Earth, that molecule has exactly one source: life. It is pumped into our air by ocean plankton, by blooming microbes in the sea, in such quantities that you have actually smelled it yourself. That sharp, salty tang when you stand at the coast and the tide is out. That smell is, in part, the breath of trillions of tiny living things. And there is no known way to make it in large amounts without biology. So when Webb found a hint of that exact molecule in the air of a warm ocean world, the implication was almost too big to write down. Either there is some strange chemistry out there that we have never seen on Earth, or something is alive in that ocean, and it is breathing. Now here is where certainty ends. And I want to be honest with you, because the loud channels will not be. That first detection of dimethyl sulfide was weak. Statistically, it sat right at the edge of what counts as real. The scientists themselves said it. This is a hint, not a discovery. We need to look again. So they looked again. And this is the part that did not make the front pages. A second set of observations, with a different instrument on the same telescope, came back. And the signal did not vanish. It got stronger. Two independent instruments, looking at the same distant world, both pointing toward molecules that here only life knows how to make. That is when the careful, cautious language started to crack. Because 2 for 2 is not how flukes usually behave. Let me put the distance in terms your body can feel. K218b is 124 light-years away. The light Webb is reading right now left that planet before your great-grandparents were born. We are not looking at K218b as it is. We are looking at its past. Whatever is in that ocean, if anything is, has had over a century more to evolve since the light we are studying left its sky. And we cannot go there. Not now, not in your lifetime, not in your grandchildren's. With our fastest spacecraft, the journey would take millions of years. So if life is there, we will likely never touch it, never see it, never hear from it. We can only stand at the edge of our own atmosphere and read its chemistry like a message in a bottle that takes 124 years to arrive. This is the strange new place science has walked us into. For all of human history, the question of whether we are alone was a matter of faith, or poetry, or fear. Now, it is a matter of measurement.
The answer is being spelled out, molecule by molecule, in the light of a star you cannot even see without a telescope. So why hasn't anyone made the official announcement? Why the careful words, the possible, the candidate, the endless more data needed? Here is the uncomfortable truth. The scientists are not hiding anything. They are doing the hardest thing a human being can do when the answer they have wanted their entire lives is finally within reach. They are refusing to fool themselves. Because there are other explanations, and good scientists chase them down before they celebrate. Maybe dimethyl sulfide can be made by some non-living process in a hydrogen-rich sky that we simply have not discovered yet. Maybe the planet is not a calm ocean world at all, but a magma sea, or a place far too hot for anything to live. Maybe the signal, even strengthened, is still a ghost in the data, a pattern our instruments and our hope are painting onto the noise. Every one of those has to be ruled out, and that takes years. More observing time on a telescope that the entire planet is fighting to use. More models, more argument. The announcement you are waiting for, the one that says, "We are not alone," may not come as a single dramatic press conference. It may arrive the way the truth usually does in science. Quietly, in a paper, after the doubt has been worn down to nothing. But step back and look at where we are standing. Just a few decades ago, we did not know if any other star had planets at all. Today, we have found thousands. And now we have a telescope that can taste the air of a world 100 trillion miles away. And the first ocean planet it tasted came back carrying the faint signature of life. Think about what that means even if K218b turns out to be empty. It means the method works. It means we have built a machine that can detect alien biology from the chemistry of a distant atmosphere. And there are not one or two of these worlds waiting to be checked. There are thousands. Webb has a list. K218b is simply the first name on it. So here is the part I promised you, the part that changes how you look at the sky. We are almost certainly the first generation of humans who will get an answer. Not a guess, not a belief, an answer, written in starlight, to a question every human who has ever lived has stared up and asked, are we alone? And it might be no. If it is no, then somewhere out there, under a sky that is not blue, in an ocean that has never seen the sun directly, something is alive right now. It does not know we exist. It will never know our names, our wars, our music, this very moment you are spending wondering about it. And yet across the dark, two forms of life on two different worlds would be, for one fragile century of overlapping light, aware of the same universe at the same time. We may not get to meet them, but we might get to know they are there. And that, by itself, would be the loneliest and the most connected our species has ever been. The next batch of observations is already scheduled. The data is already coming. Somewhere, on a hard drive in an institute right now, the answer may already be sitting in a column of numbers, waiting for someone brave enough to be certain. So I will ask you the question they are all asking quietly. When the announcement finally comes, and the chemistry is confirmed, and we know for sure that we share this universe with something else, do you think they will tell us right away? Or do you think we already know more than they are saying? Tell me in the comments. And if you want to be here when the next signal drops, you know what to do. Because this story is not finished. It is just getting its first clear breath.